Hey there folks, Hero None here again, and we're going to go over some of the Dark Brotherhood stuff and the new item sets that are coming out here, and some of the changes that are going to be coming with those item sets as well. Just click on this. Okay, so, item sets. We have 3 drop sets from Gold Coast, which is going to include Sithis Kutch, Flanking Strategist, and Hide of Morahalis. Apologies if I mispronounce any of these. Any lore secrets out there. 3 new crafted sets, including Penelli's Aptitude, Varen's Wall, and Gavach Gladiator. And finally, we have 4 new Telvar sets, Garon's Revenge, Vice Cannon of Venom, Thews of Harbinger, and Imperium Physique. In addition to that, we also have Sanctum Ophidian Trial gear being updated. Older PvP gear is being updated in Cyrodiil, though they had the same traits and slots. And the Golden Vendor is now going to give Impenetrable for AP. So now, just to go over some of these here, a lot of these things will probably change here, but we'll take a look at them at least, okay? Oh, sorry. Okay, here. One of the first ones is Sithis Touch. Actually, you know what? I should probably take a look here. Okay, Flanking Satirist. Now this is an interesting one here. Gives a stamina, weapon critical, weapon damage, and then Flanking Strategist. Attacks from behind an enemy will give 330 weapon damage. Interesting set. I'd say it's one set that I would have avoided doing until they fixed a lot of the lag in PvP. Reason being that you can just see it right now that if I lag and you don't, and I see your back, does that mean that when I use this Flanking Strategist on you, I get the extra weapon damage? Like, I could be facing you forward, right? But on my screen, I've already come up from behind you and then stabbed you in the back. That's going to be problematic, I think. This is coming from me in previous other MMOs where I've played and there's been lag. Any type of class where there's, like, a backstabbing ability and having positioning involved typically is overplayed with laggy characters and really broken. It really breaks up the game and it's, like, kind of crap. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I can guarantee there's going to be some pretty salty people about that. Hide of Moralis. Health, physical resistance, stamina, and Hide of Moralis. Rolling through enemies gives 1,760 physical damage and knocks them down. All I can think of is, like, I'm the Juggernaut, baby. I can't really say that, but whatever. Just roll dodging into people and then knocking them down. That's, I don't know. Maybe if you, like, line up, like, if they all lined up in a triangle and there were 7 of them and just kind of, like, roll them down like pins, that makes sense. But I don't know. I can't see myself using this. I don't know if other people are going to use this, but interesting thought. The damage is kind of low compared to other sets that involve roll dodging. The one that's in the Thieves Guild line that gives the mine on the ground gives a lot more damage and gives a stun as well. So I don't really see this as being the great set unless you can combine the two. Well, maybe you could combine the two if it gives a jewelry drop, but I don't know if it is or not. And finally, Sithis Touch. You get health, critical, and then spell critical as well. Then, using Blade of Woe gives Major Berserk for 20 seconds. That's interesting. I could see that being used in some of the PvE stuff. I don't see it being used in PvP, though, because Blade of Woe can only be used against NPCs that are, like, non-champion, and guards are champions. Unless somebody was doing something inside of the city here, and maybe you could use it on a Jamora before you went ahead and attacked a player. But, I mean, PvP-wise, I don't think it'd be that great. PvE-wise, still not sure that's that great either. I mean, it's 20 seconds, but the health, critical. I don't see where this is being used that well, but maybe you guys can correct me on that. Now, some of the crafted stuff here. I think I took out some of these out of the thing here, so just let me review here real quick what some of the other ones here were. Item sets. Penel's Altitude, Varon's Wall, and Kvatch Gladiator. Alright, so Varon's Legacy adds health, stamina, 4% heal and taken, and 10% chance to block the next area effect. 10% chance on the block that the next area effect you attack you will deal an additional 3,300 damage. Might be interesting in certain cases. Not sure what, though. Let's say if you're using Elemental Wall, if you're using Impulse, if you're using Steel Tornado, if you're using Cleave, if you're using... Would those count as area effects? I'm thinking about the Proxy Debt would probably be considered area effect too. So that might be interesting for added damage, but I don't know. It's kind of weird to use this set here. All right, let's see here. What else do we have? Gladiator, right? Yep, there we go. Fetch Gladiator. Weapon critical, weapon damage, and then your light and heavy attacks deal an additional 1,722 weapon damage to targets below 25% health. I could see this very well being used by a night, not a night blade, but a DK. That is an easy one-shot build right there for anyone below 25k or 25%. It's very subjective, given, okay, but like if you have anyone that's like in an execute range, that's gonna do a shit ton of damage. Just like bow. Imagine a bow with that, right? Using the DK's ability with a Molten Armaments to give them 40% more damage on their heavy attacks. On top of that, on something that's 25%. That would be very interesting. I think you'd probably be best seeing that in the dungeon to use it, but... Alright, and then Penelli's Curse, Health, Stamina Recovery, Magic Recovery, and Penelli's Aptitude. Your weapon damage and your spell damage both become the highest of the two values currently disabled on PTS. This is an interesting set here. We talked about this last time we took a look at some of the different sets here. I think this is going to be one that's going to be good with a let's see. Yeah, I think this is probably going to be best with an orc on a stamina orc. Okay, stacking up magicka, stacking up let's see, Flawless Dawnbreaker. Yeah, that's probably the best. But I don't know. Min-maxers, correct me if I'm wrong. Give me a good build to go with this here. But I currently, the way I'm thinking about it right now is Orc's natural passive for weapon damage, Flawless Dawnbreaker to increase weapon damage, Dual Wield to increase weapon damage, you know, a lot of sets that are just increasing weapon damage, but then stacking up magic on the other end, so you have a huge amount of spell damage that can go with there too. Might also be interesting to see this used with like a Steel Tornado plus Proxy Debt, if that's something that seems a little bit too sick to use, but yeah. I'll have to see. Alright. And then... and just make sure I got out the other sets here. So that covers the drop sets, the crafted sets, and then the new Talvar sets. Garion's Revenge, Vice Cannon and Venom, Thirst of Fireburger, and Imperial Physique. Now, these are interesting. I think I still have these in the boxes here to show off. I hope. Yep, I do. Okay, so Garion's Revenge. Spell critical, magical recovery, spell damage. Gary's Revenge. When you hit an enemy with light or heavy attack, you put a mark on them for 15 seconds. After 6 marks, the target will detonate for 4,565 magic damage. This, I could see let's say you had a small group, everyone running this. This could be interesting, I think. Like everyone, let's say everyone's with bow using it at the same time. You could easily use this all at the same time. Well, bow wouldn't work that well with magic damage, would it? Maybe heavy set, maybe Inferno Staffs or something. But I just imagining this with a coordinated attack, it could be kind of useful in certain cases there. But you'd have to find something that'd be that good. That's a low amount of magic damage, but I'm also on a stamina build too, so that might be higher for other players. Imperial Physique. Oh yeah, this is the insane one here. Stamina recovery, magic recovery, weapon damage, and spell damage. And then Imperial Physique. When you're in the Imperial City and you tap into the power of the Talvar stones you're carrying, you increase your health and magicka and stamina by 996. When you're at 4x Talvar stones, that's 10,000 Talvar stones, increase this multiplier will have it increased by 6,000%. That is a shit ton of health, magic, and stamina. That's almost Emperor level, and I would like to see an Emperor wearing this inside the Imperial City with 4x Talvar stones, because I'm gonna imagine that's gonna be pretty insane. But I don't think everyone's gonna be running it too. Okay, Greaves of the Harbinger. Health, stamina. There's the Harbinger. When you successfully block a direct damage attack, you deal damage to your attacker equal to 4% of your current health. Current value, 619 physical damage. This one's an interesting one, especially with some of the changes coming up with Bone Shield and possibly Razor Armor for the DK line. I'd be interested to see this in a build. I've heard people have been doing this and having like block builds to just reflect damage and let people that are spamming abilities kill themselves. But I don't know if you can ever get your health that high enough that it actually would be like extremely useful, because I think most people will see that they're taking damage and then they would stop, heal themselves, and then start hitting you again. If you're blocking, you're probably going to be out of stamina pretty quick. And then finally, Vice Cannon and Venom, which I've heard some good stuff about this too. Stamina, weapon damage, stamina recovery, Deadly Venom. Your critical hits from crouch are leeching poison, which deal 13k plus poison damage over 15 seconds and heals you for the damage done. So this is when you come in from stealth on an enemy and then you do this, okay? So this is much more of a ganking type build. Like, you're going to be doing a crap ton of damage to people, and if they're going to try, if your initial hit doesn't kill them, the poison that's going to take a while there is going to take them out, hopefully, or at least keep them from healing up. Only issue I see with this, though, it's all armor. It's not rings, or it's not weapons as well. Now, that is the Talvar stuff. Now, for other stuff here... Okay, Serpent. Okay. This stuff is all from Sanctum Ophidia. This is all getting updates, okay? Getting up to V16. Or Champion 160 now. Weapon damage, weapon critical. Drew, Kingslayer. Passively grants you major brutality, increase your weapon damage by 20%. So guess what? You don't have to use Rally, you don't have to use Flying Dagger. Killing enemy will grant you major expedition for 20 seconds, increasing your movement speed by 30%. Well, good if you're having issues with people killing or trying to kill you after you killed them. But this is heavy armor too, so it may not give you as much damage as you want. Oh, I should mention as well, something that's been told by Zos to us is that anything that's a drop set inside of Sanctum Ophidia has a chance to drop as a jewelry as well. If it drops as a jewelry, this is going to be a very overpowered set for some people because they're going to have the chance to put on a necklace, 2 rings, and possibly just like 2 pieces of armor or some weapons, which could be freaking overpowered with this. Elegance. Spell damage, magicka, and then light and heavy attacks increase by 20%. That's kind of nice, but I don't really know a whole lot of like casters that really rely on light and heavy attacks. Currently, Yukare, they changed over a lot of the standard sets now, so now they have this instead. So 4% healing taking grants major Aegis, causing you to take 5% less damage from major boss monsters. Major health, and then when you die, instead you turn into a statue for 3 seconds and gain 200 ultimate. When a statue, you are immune for negative effects, but you can still be healed. This effect has a cooldown of 10 minutes. So basically the Phoenix set. Also adds 4% healing to that as well. Fill the Aether. Weapon critical, minor slayer, which causes your attacks to deal 5% more damage to monsters. Weapon critical, and then 5 items reduces the cost for stamina abilities by 8%. When you kill an enemy, restore 2,075 stamina, grants you major expedition, so you can start running away, and also adds in weapon damage. I think the 5-piece on that is pretty good with the way they put it. I don't know if the 3-piece is that great for anything but PvE, but Vicious Death, sorry, not Vicious Death. Vicious Ophidian is definitely going to be taking another look at that. Guards of the Viper, weapon critical, stamina, weapon critical. When your Viper Sting, when your melee attacks deal 676 poison damage, this has an effect. This effect will have this effect can only happen once every 4 seconds. I don't know. This is like a Hunting's Rage type of thing, but with poison. But it doesn't increase all your damage too. You know, it has that cooldown there too. If they give us jewelry to go with this, I will definitely take it on. But if they don't give us jewelry, I might stick over with what is it? I was just thinking about it. Sheer Venom. Thank you. Oh, I skipped over a few. Sorry about that, guys. Probably screaming at the video right now. Nightmare gives physical resistance, health, weapon damage, and Nightmare. 20% chance on melee attacks to grant men or maim to nearby enemies for 5 seconds, reducing the damage that they deal by 15%. And not bad. It gives a reduction that you can take advantage of for sure. Shadow Dancer. Magicka, and spell damage. Shadow Dancer's raiment. Ignore movement speed penalties when sneaking and adds 124 stamina recovery. So this is basically, if you don't want to be a vampire, you can get this on a light armor character and then just run on through wherever you want to go. And I just went over that. Apologize. So yeah, so a lot of things are being updated here as well. One thing I didn't go over here on this side here was the, well, I kind of mentioned it on the item sets here. So we went over the 3, 4 Sanctum Ophidian stuff. The older PvP gear has been updated in Cyrodiil, but it is not a it's not been updated to actually drop in all sets and all styles and traits. So you're still gonna have to wait for it. They mentioned on the forums there they're putting it back in at 160, but the addition of additional traits and additional slots that it can be in is still on the drawing board. They supposedly want to see what the balance is going to be before they put it back in. So that's kind of where that leaves it off. But that's it for some of the new item sets here, guys. I'll catch you guys a little bit later with another video on this stuff. We have a lot more to go through still. But that's me, Hero of None. Take a look at Dark Brotherhood and some of the new stuff here you have coming up with different sets. Meow, meow. And clear. Yay!